When God writes your name in ink, no devil can smudge it. They can only smear themselves trying. Chosen one, lean in, because what's about to unfold will make your enemy's blood pressure rise faster than their rent. Do you know that in legal history there have been documented cases where justice moved so unexpectedly it overturned years of corruption overnight? That's the kind of atmosphere you're in right now. But in your case, it's not just the law. It's the lawgiver himself tipping the scales. Your favor is not ordinary. It's the kind of favor that makes spiritual assassins drop their weapons mid-attack. It's the kind of favor that makes people in positions of power fumble their coffee when your name comes up. It's so uncrackable that every scheme against you ends up becoming the very tool that propels you higher. And here's where it gets funny. The same enemies who once walked with their chests out are now tripping over furniture, diving for excuses, and yes, justice is literally jumping over the couch for your ops. You've become the plot twist they never saw coming, the kind where the villain suddenly realizes they were just an unpaid extra in your story all along. Stay right here, because by the time we're done, you'll see exactly why your rise isn't luck, why their downfall isn't random, and why favor like yours can't be hacked, stolen, or shut down. Number 1. Your favor is a spiritual lockpick. They can't reverse. They've done everything to figure out how you keep breaking through. They've talked in circles, plotted in secret, and even tried to copy your moves step by step. Yet they still can't recreate your results. That's because what you carry is not something that can be duplicated, hacked, or reverse engineered. Your favor works like a spiritual lockpick that was designed for you alone. It opens doors they don't even know exist, and even if they find those doors, they can't get them to budge. You were given keys that were cut with the exact dimensions of your assignment, your lineage, and your destiny. That means no matter how many times they slam those doors shut, you'll still end up on the other side, not by breaking in, but because the door recognizes who you are. The reason this rattles them so much is because it exposes their limits. They operate in a world where power is taken by manipulation, deceit, or leverage over others, but your kind of access doesn't respond to any of that. They can't blackmail it, bribe it, or intimidate it. It's not granted by votes, titles, or popularity. It's rooted in divine authorization. And that's dangerous for them, because it means their influence over you is non-existent. You've probably noticed that the harder they try to block you, the stranger your victories become. An opportunity you didn't even chase ends up in your lap. A setback they engineered somehow speeds up your progress. That's because your favor doesn't need a clear path. It creates one. The very systems they weaponize to hold you back end up bending in your direction without them understanding why. What makes it even more frustrating for them is that this access doesn't require you to overwork, over-explain, or beg. You move in a way that looks effortless, and to them that's the ultimate insult. They sweat, push, and scheme to get an inch, while you walk past barriers they thought were unbreakable. That's why they can't sleep at night. They keep replaying the moment they thought they had you cornered, only to watch you walk free again. Your favor is the proof that not all power is earned through struggle or stolen through deceit. Some power is simply assigned, and it's assigned in a way that no enemy can revoke no matter how hard they try. Number 2. Justice is moving like it's personal, because it is. When justice moves slowly, people get comfortable thinking they've gotten away with what they've done. They start talking bolder, acting untouchable, and convincing themselves the tables will never turn. But there comes a point when heaven decides the delay is over, and that's when things shift so fast it feels personal. In your case, it actually is personal. This isn't some detached balancing of the scales. It's a targeted intervention with your name on it. The energy around you right now is not about gradual correction. It's about swift restoration. Your enemies are finding out the hard way that justice doesn't just operate on court calendars or legal deadlines. When the one who runs the entire order of things decides enough is enough, he doesn't wait for a judge to sign off. People who once felt safe are suddenly feeling pressure from directions they never expected. Their alliances are cracking, their secrets are surfacing, and the same doors they used to shut on you are being slammed in their faces. What's different about this moment is how direct it feels. There's no mistaking what's happening. The timing, the connections, the sudden reversals. It's all so precise that even the people who once doubted you can see the pattern. This isn't luck, and it's not karma in the vague sense people like to throw around. It's justice that's been watching in silence, and now it's moving with intent. The speed of it is what's making your enemies panic. They thought they had time to regroup, to cover their tracks, to rewrite the story, but the fallout is catching them mid-step before they can even spin it. They're being confronted by things they can't talk their way out of, and the harder they scramble, the faster the consequences close in. And while this is unfolding, you're not having to force it. You're not running from one battle to the next, trying to make sure you get what's owed to you. The process has turned in your favor without you having to push it there. That's what makes it sting for them. Justice is not only working on your behalf, it's doing it in a way that leaves no doubt who it's protecting and who it's correcting. When justice moves like that, it's not just a win for you. It's a warning for anyone who thought they could play with your name without paying the price. Number 3. Your name was cleared before the lies were even spoken. Long before anyone spoke a lie about you, your name had already been stamped with innocence in the highest court that exists. That verdict wasn't reached after a debate, it wasn't based on biased witnesses, and it definitely wasn't decided by people with hidden agendas. It was declared in a place where truth isn't just valued, it's the only language spoken. That means every accusation thrown at you was already dead on arrival, even if it took time for that truth to show up in the physical world. The people who came against you underestimated something critical. They thought the story starts when they open their mouths. They didn't realize there's a version of events that's been recorded long before they ever had the chance to twist it. Your character, your integrity, and your assignment were evaluated and sealed under protection before they even planned the attack. So while they were busy painting you as the villain, they were actually making fools of themselves in front of an audience they didn't know was watching. This is why so many of their efforts keep collapsing. They can rehearse the same lies, spread them through every channel, and try to recruit anyone who will listen. But the weight behind their words is paper thin. The truth doesn't need to shout to be heard. It just needs time to step into the room. And right now, that time has come. You're starting to see the cracks form in their version of the story. People who once believed them are backing away. Doors that seemed closed are reopening without explanation. The lies they thought would be their protection are becoming their biggest liability. What's powerful about this moment is that you're not just being cleared in public. You were cleared before there was even a public to watch. This was never about proving yourself to them. It was about walking in a reality that was already settled in your favor. The verdict they tried to fight was never up for negotiation. That's what unsettles them most. They can't rewrite what's already been written, and they can't reverse what's already been ruled. All they can do now is watch as the world catches up to what heaven decided from the start, that you were never guilty, never disqualified, and never at the mercy of their version of events. Number 4, their attack activated the trapdoor they built for you. Every step they took to trap you ended up being the blueprint for their own undoing. They planned carefully, thinking they could predict your every move, that they had mapped out every possible reaction. Every lie, every manipulation, every hidden scheme was meant to make you stumble, to weaken your influence, to silence your rise. But in trying to control you, they underestimated the force behind your purpose. Every trap they laid was measured for someone who would fear it, not someone whose destiny refuses to be boxed in. Their cleverness turned into a silent accomplice of your victory. The more complex and devious their plans, the more obvious the cracks became. Every effort to corner you exposed their patterns, their weaknesses, their desperation. They thought they were building walls around you, but they were actually building the exact scaffolding you needed to climb higher. Every obstacle they threw in your way became a stepping stone. Every attack sharpened your focus and resilience, and every move intended to ensnare you highlighted the flaws in their own strategy. What makes this even more intense is that they had no idea it was happening. They were blind to the fact that the energy they spent plotting against you was being converted into a force that propelled you forward. While they congratulated themselves on their cleverness, reality was quietly flipping the script. They created a stage, and you walked onto it already knowing the lines. Every pitfall they imagined would slow you down became the trapdoor they eventually fell into themselves. By the time they realize what's happening, it's too late. Their schemes are unraveling faster than they can respond, and they're left wondering how the one they thought they controlled is now untouchable. Every attack becomes a mirror, showing them the futility of their efforts. Their trapdoor isn't just symbolic, it's literal in the way their downfall emerges from the very energy they poured into trying to hurt you. In the end, the lesson is clear. When someone tries to manipulate your path, they may think they're powerful, but often they're just laying out the design for their own collapse. Your rise was never dependent on avoiding attacks. It was dependent on understanding that attacks can turn into acceleration, that traps can turn into leverage, and that those who aim to destroy you may actually be the architects of their own defeat. Number 5. Your reputation was bulletproofed in the fire they set. Every insult, every rumor, every attempt to tarnish your name was like fuel for something much stronger than destruction. They thought their words, their schemes, their relentless attacks could erode who you are. But they didn't realize that you were operating under a different law, one that doesn't crumble under pressure but strengthens because of it. Your reputation wasn't simply surviving their fire. It was being reshaped, refined, and reinforced with every attempt to break it. They imagined that the flames would make you retreat, doubt yourself, or bend to their version of reality. Instead, each attack sharpened your character and clarified your integrity. The lies they spread, the gossip they orchestrated, and the subtle manipulations they used didn't stick because the core of who you are had already been hardened by experience, purpose, and truth. Every time they thought they scored a hit, the opposite happened. The fire purified what was already unshakable, making your reputation resistant to their agendas. It's not just about being untouchable, it's about becoming unmistakable. When people see you move through challenges that would collapse most others, when they witness the calmness, consistency, and clarity you carry despite chaos, they start to recognize the difference between hollow threats and genuine power. Your enemies tried to smear you in ways that made others nervous or hesitant, but the very acts they hoped would weaken you ended up broadcasting your strength in bold relief. This is why their frustration grows exponentially. No matter how many angles they attack from, no matter how sophisticated their traps, their efforts bounce back and reinforce the very thing they wanted to destroy. They set a fire, hoping you'd burn, and instead you became stronger than ever, untouchable, undeniable, and undeniable in the eyes of anyone paying attention. The fire didn't just test you, it bulletproofed you. And while they continue to fume and panic at your progress, your reputation is walking ahead of them, shining brighter with every step they try to trip you. The more they aim to tear it down, the more obvious it becomes that their attacks were never a threat. They were a forge, a testing ground, and a proving point that your name carries weight that no scheme can touch. Your reputation is not surviving, it is indestructible. Number 6. The favor on you is generationally funded. The favor you're walking in isn't something that started with you. It didn't begin when you took your first steps, landed your first opportunity, or even when people started noticing your potential. This favor has a history, a foundation built on sacrifices, prayers, and faith poured into the future by those who came before you. Ancestors, unseen forces, and long-forgotten commitments all contributed to the blueprint of your rise. You didn't earn all of this on your own. You were born into a current that was already strong, already moving toward your destiny. Because of that, no attack can truly touch it. They can try to dismantle your reputation, block your opportunities, or spread lies, but the favor you carry isn't fragile or temporary. It's funded in a way that transcends human effort and endurance. while they operate within limits, schedules, laws, money, influence. Your favor is backed by a history of investment that can't be cancelled, stolen, or replicated. Every move against you meets a resistance that isn't visible on the surface, but is absolute in its effect. This is why they keep failing. They measure their attacks by what they know, but your foundation is measured by what they can't see. The prayers, the dedication, the unseen battles fought to prepare the world for your arrival. Their strategies are like small stones thrown into a river. They cause ripples, but they cannot stop the current that has been building for generations. That current carries you forward, and it carries the weight of promises that demand fulfillment. The beauty of this is that it makes you unstoppable without arrogance. You don't have to over-explain, overperform, or overcompensate because your favor has its own force. It moves ahead of you, clearing paths, opening doors, and protecting you from attacks that would break anyone else. While they expend energy trying to catch up or catch you slipping, your rise continues effortlessly because it's already funded at a level they cannot match. This favor is a reminder that your life isn't just your own. It's the product of vision, sacrifice, and faith that stretches back decades or even centuries. Every step you take is built on that foundation, and that is why no attack, no lie, no betrayal, no strategy can bankrupt it. You're walking in something far bigger than yourself, and that is why you remain untouchable. Number 7. They're watching their influence shatter in real time. They can feel it, and it terrifies them. Every move they thought would strengthen their position, every alliance they believed would protect them, every whisper they spread to manipulate perception, it's all falling apart right in front of their eyes. What they built on deception, manipulation, and fear is crumbling because reality refuses to obey their narrative. You didn't need to fight back or respond aggressively. Truth doesn't require announcements or strategies. It simply shows up, undeniable and uncompromising, and in its presence, falsehoods lose their grip. They're discovering that influence isn't permanent when it's based on lies. The people they counted on are starting to question them. The networks they relied upon are showing cracks, and even their own confidence is eroding. The momentum they thought they controlled is slipping away, as if the ground beneath them has been quietly removed. It's not chaotic luck. It's cause and effect. The moment they tried to suppress, mislead, or control, they planted the seeds of their own collapse. Every secret, every manipulation, every carefully engineered advantage is being exposed by a force they cannot fight: truth. What makes it even more intense is the pace. It isn't slow or subtle. It's happening in real time, and they can't rewind it, pause it, or negotiate it. They are witnessing the consequences of their own design unfolding with precision, and it's humiliating. No amount of spin or damage control can undo what's happening because the very energy they relied on to maintain control is turning against them. Meanwhile, you're moving unaffected, riding the wave of clarity and integrity that they can't touch. Their panic grows with each second because their influence, the thing they believed made them untouchable, is slipping through their fingers. They see it disintegrate, yet they have no idea how to stop it. Every alliance dissolving, every plot unraveling, every manipulation exposed is a reminder that power built on deceit is temporary, and favor grounded in truth is eternal. This moment is a silent announcement to anyone watching. Influence can be lost, but integrity cannot. And for your enemies, the irony is unavoidable. The very tactics they used to control and destroy you are the ones now dismantling their own kingdom, while you continue to rise above, untouchable and unstoppable. Number 8. You're winning without the noise of war. The irony of it all is that they expected a fight. They imagined you scrambling, arguing, retaliating, proving yourself, sweating over every detail as they tried to corner you. That's what they thought victory would look like. A clash, a battle, a dramatic struggle where someone eventually loses. But your rise doesn't operate on their terms. You're winning without the noise, without the public display, without giving them the satisfaction of seeing you react. Your favor works quietly, efficiently, and decisively, dismantling every part of their plan while you keep moving forward as if nothing happened. Every strategy they put into place to stop you ends up accelerating your progress. Every whisper campaign, every subtle manipulation, every attempt to corner or discredit you fails because your energy isn't consumed by the fight. You're not busy defending yourself. Your power and focus are directed entirely toward forward motion. That makes the victory sweeter and much more devastating for them, because it happens without the spectacle they were counting on. What makes this especially frustrating for them is that they can see the results, but they don't understand the mechanism. They watch doors open, influence shift, and opportunities land in your hands, yet they don't hear a single war cry or see a single angry response from you. They expect chaos, but you deliver quiet triumph. They expect noise, but your success is a calm, unstoppable force. The beauty of this method is that it removes them from the story entirely. They are no longer active players, they are witnesses to their own irrelevance. Every move they made to challenge you, to fight you, to drag you into a war, only proves how powerless they really were. Your victory is not reactive, it's proactive, built on a foundation that their attacks can't shake. By the time they realize what's happening, it's too late. Their influence has been eroded, their schemes exposed, and their confidence shattered. All while you've barely broken stride. Winning without the noise of war means you rise above the chaos, claim the position you were always meant to hold, and leave them staring at the dismantling of their power with no one to blame but themselves. Your favor doesn't need battle, it just needs presence, and that is exactly what makes it uncrackable. Number 9. Their power was an illusion dependent on your absence. Their power was never real in the first place. It only appeared strong because you weren't there to challenge it, to expose its weaknesses, or to set the standard it could never reach. They thrived on your absence, acting bold and untouchable, while the space you should have occupied seemed empty. Every decision they made, every alliance they formed, every move they flaunted as authority was built on a false premise, that you wouldn't step in, that your presence wouldn't recalibrate the entire system. The moment you claimed your place, everything they had depended on fell apart. Their authority wasn't rooted in competence, integrity, or truth. It was rooted in the illusion of control. It only existed in the vacuum you left behind. As soon as you returned, stepped forward, and assumed your rightful position, the illusion dissolved. The walls they built around their influence cracked. The people who bowed to it wavered, and the confidence they wore like armor melted under the weight of reality. What's extraordinary is how immediate it is. They could see it happening but couldn't stop it. Their schemes, their networks, and their attempts at domination all relied on the same false foundation. The belief that your silence would continue indefinitely. Every rule they thought gave them power was neutralized by your presence. Every manipulated perception was corrected simply because you showed up. The authority they clung to was never theirs to keep. It was always contingent, borrowed from the space you occupied. And now, they're left watching, powerless, as their empire of illusions collapses. Their influence, which felt unshakable in your absence, is exposed as nothing more than smoke and mirrors. The energy, attention, and control they wielded were borrowed from the vacuum you allowed, and now that vacuum is filled, not with conflict, but with your rightful claim to what was always yours. This moment is a lesson they can't ignore. Power based on someone else's absence is never lasting. Authority dependent on your silence is never authentic. And when you step into your place with clarity, confidence, and purpose, every illusion built to overshadow you evaporates. Your presence doesn't just shift the balance, it annihilates their false structures entirely, leaving them to reckon with a reality they never prepared for. Number 10. Justice has turned into a public spectator sport. The most satisfying part of this moment is that justice isn't quiet anymore. It's not tucked away in a courtroom, a private conversation, or some hidden investigation. It's out in the open, impossible to ignore and impossible for anyone to twist. Every lie, every plot, every attempt to undermine you is being exposed publicly, and the people who once turned a blind eye are forced to watch it unfold in real time. Your vindication isn't private, It's a spectacle that demands acknowledgement, and it's happening exactly when they least expect it. This isn't about creating drama or showing off. It's about truth revealing itself naturally in a way that makes even your detractors pause. They can see it happening. They can see the consequences of their own actions, the unraveling of the plans they thought were hidden, and the undeniable proof that your position, your integrity, and your path were never in question. Every person who once doubted you now witnesses the scale tipping in your favor, and they can't look away. What makes this even more powerful is how undeniable it is. The public nature of it doesn't just prove your innocence or show your rise, it exposes their failures. Every alliance that turns, every support system that shifts, every door that opens for you while it closes on them, makes the message clear. They gambled with the wrong person. Their attempts to manipulate perception, control narratives, and suppress truth only made the public revelation sharper, more impactful, and more humiliating for them. This exposure isn't a threat from you. It's a natural consequence of integrity meeting opportunity. People are learning, often unwillingly, that justice isn't something that can be blocked or delayed forever. It doesn't matter how much effort they put into hiding the truth. When it's time for it to surface, it does so in a way that leaves no room for debate. And for you, the beauty of it is that you don't need to chase acknowledgement. You don't need to explain, justify, or convince anyone. Truth has a way of commanding attention on its own, and right now it's performing for everyone who once ignored, doubted, or underestimated you. Justice has turned into a public spectator sport, and the audience is seeing the reality that they once tried to hide. All while you continue moving forward, untouchable and unshaken. Number 11. The system they weaponized is now aiming back at them. Everything they built their power on, every loophole they exploited, every manipulation they engineered, is turning against them. The systems they weaponized, the rules, the policies, the structures meant to control, intimidate, or exclude, are now operating exactly as they were designed to, but this time they're the ones caught in the machinery. They assumed the law, the hierarchy, or the network they controlled would protect them indefinitely. They thought they understood how to bend it, stretch it, and exploit it without consequence. But what they failed to realize is that no system can be permanently hijacked. Eventually it resets, recalibrates, and enforces itself. Now every loophole they abused is closing, every shortcut they used is exposing them, and every unfair advantage is being corrected automatically. What they relied on for power has become a trap, because the very framework they manipulated is impartial in the long run. The rules don't negotiate, the protocols don't forgive, and the mechanisms of accountability don't forget. They created a fortress made of technicalities and blind spots, but the system is correcting itself, and it's precise, relentless, and undeniable. The terrifying part for them is how methodical it feels. There's no chaos or randomness. Every rule, every regulation, every protocol they twisted is now enforcing consequences exactly where they should, and in ways they can't manipulate. Their own hands crafted the instruments that are now dismantling their influence. Every attack they launched, every misstep they thought they could hide, every exploitation they counted on for leverage is being addressed in real time, and they are powerless to stop it. Meanwhile, you're moving forward, untouched, because you've never relied on bending the system to your favor. You operated with integrity, clarity, and purpose. That contrast is what makes their downfall so glaring. They used the structure as a weapon, but in the end, it was just a mirror reflecting their own miscalculations, and your proof that systems ultimately favor alignment with truth, not deception. This is the ultimate irony. The fortress they built to dominate others now locks them in, and every rule they abused is now a tool for their accountability. The system doesn't care who they are, how influential they thought they were, or how clever they believed themselves to be. It simply corrects, balances, and restores. And they're watching helplessly as the consequences hit with brutal precision. Number 12. Your win is costing them more than they planned to lose. They thought they could handle it. They assumed that taking shots at you, Undermining you or trying to block your rise would come with a manageable cost, a price they were willing to pay for a temporary sense of control. What they didn't realize is that the stakes were never theirs to set. Every attempt to manipulate, deceive, or attack you carries a cost far higher than they imagined, and that cost is now coming due in ways that hit far beyond what they can measure. Their influence is the first casualty. Every scheme they launched, every whisper campaign they orchestrated, every alliance they exploited is now crumbling under its own weight. They assumed your reaction would be small, your victories delayed, your truth suppressed. Instead, every action they took has amplified your position and dismantled theirs. Their networks are failing, their allies are questioning them, and the credibility they once relied on is evaporating. What they counted on as an advantage is now a liability, and the fallout is bigger than anything they budgeted for. But it doesn't stop there. Resources they thought were safely in their control are being redirected, wasted, or exposed. Opportunities they hoarded, plans they perfected, and assets they relied on are now part of the collapse. They believed they were playing a calculated game, but the calculations didn't account for your resilience, your favor, or the unstoppable momentum behind you. Every move to harm you ended up siphoning their energy, attention, and power into correcting what they broke, while you continue rising unaffected. And their peace, the quiet confidence they once carried, is gone. The stress, paranoia, and constant scrambling to contain the consequences of their actions are draining them in ways they never prepared for. They thought they were playing a short-term game, but the fallout is long-term, and every misstep now compounds the cost. Your win isn't just a personal triumph, it's a force that exposes the fragility of those who tried to stop you. They miscalculated the price of attacking someone whose favor is unshakable. What they assumed would be a small setback for them has become a complete unraveling of influence, credibility, resources, and peace. And all the while, you remain untouchable, unshaken, and moving forward, proving that some victories come at a cost far higher than anyone ever expects, especially for those foolish enough to try to block destiny. Number 13. You've made their threats expire before they're spoken. Every time they prepare to strike, there's a shift happening that they can't see. They plan, plot, and strategize as if their threats have teeth, but the moment their schemes are conceived, they start unraveling. Their moves collapse before they even gain momentum, as though the universe itself is intercepting them. It's not luck, coincidence, or your own anticipation. It's the force of your favor and destiny moving ahead of their intentions, neutralizing attacks before they even materialize. They think they are controlling events, but they are unknowingly racing against a reality that refuses to bend to their will. Every plan, every whisper, every trap is intercepted by invisible laws of correction and protection. It's like trying to throw a stone through water while the current carries it away before it can sink. Their attacks never fully form because the energy behind your path and your purpose is too strong to be obstructed. What's terrifying for them is how consistent it is. They can't identify a pattern because they don't understand the mechanism at work. One moment, they think they have an opening. The next, it's closed. They assume success is near, but everything they set in motion collapses silently, invisibly, and irreversibly. They are left frustrated, wondering why their careful plots yield nothing while you remain untouched, calm, and moving forward. It's not just protection, it's a proactive dismantling of their schemes. The spiritual realm, the unseen forces at work, act like a preemptive editor, deleting errors and harmful intentions before they manifest. Every attack becomes null before it ever has a chance to influence the physical world. The result is that they appear weak, clumsy, and powerless, and they can't figure out why. Meanwhile, you continue forward without effort, because your path isn't dependent on defending against attacks that never fully exist. They try to act, but the force guiding you ensures that nothing sticks. Your favor preempts their strategies, makes their threats irrelevant, and transforms their aggression into nothing more than wasted energy. They're forced to watch impotently as their plans expire before they're even spoken. proving in the clearest terms that nothing can touch someone who is truly protected and aligned with destiny. Number 14. You're walking proof that favor doesn't ask for permission. Your journey isn't determined by negotiations, approvals, or the permission of anyone who thinks they have power over you. Every obstacle, every critic, every enemy who tried to redirect your path has learned the hard truth. Favor doesn't wait for consent. It moves regardless of opposition. You're living proof that when something is divinely ordained, no human scheme can alter it. The doors you're walking through, the opportunities landing in your lap, the victories that seem almost effortless, none of it required permission from the very people who tried to stop you. This is why your rise is so unnerving for others. They can plan, manipulate, and scheme all they want, but they quickly realize that their efforts are irrelevant in the grand design of your life. They are observers, not editors. They can watch your progress, they can talk about it, they can even try to slow it down, but ultimately, the script has already been written, and it isn't theirs to change. Every attempt to influence your path only reinforces the truth that favor doesn't negotiate with fear. It bypasses it entirely. What makes this even more striking is how visible it is. People see the pattern. The more opposition you face, the faster, stronger, and more precise your forward movement becomes. They notice that their attacks, their whispers, their strategies to control or derail you don't work. You keep rising, and it becomes impossible for them to claim credit, manipulate the story, or convince anyone that you were anything less than destined to succeed. You embody the principle that favor is not conditional or fragile. It doesn't need approval, agreement, or validation to function. It doesn't wait for anyone to understand it, and it doesn't slow down for anyone who doubts it. Your life demonstrates that when God writes your outcome, it unfolds on time, with precision, and in ways that make resistance futile. This is the ultimate lesson for anyone watching. Your destiny cannot be edited by human hands. You move in a current they cannot touch, and every step you take is proof that divine favor doesn't ask for permission. It simply acts. Your enemies are forced to watch powerless as your story unfolds exactly as it was written, leaving them to read along helplessly while you live it fully, triumphantly, and unshakably. Chosen one. Every attack, every scheme, every attempt to block or diminish you has not only failed, it has worked in your favor. Every move your enemies made to control, manipulate, or stop you has only highlighted the unshakable nature of your favor. They tried to trap you, smear you, and undermine you, but all they accomplished was proving the strength of what was already written in your destiny. Your reputation wasn't just protected, it was bulletproofed in the fires they set. Every obstacle, every betrayal, every whispered lie became fuel that propelled you higher, faster, and stronger. You are walking proof that true favor cannot be manipulated, cannot be bought, and cannot be stolen. It is generationally funded, uncrackable, and unstoppable. The systems they weaponized, the alliances they trusted, the threats they plotted, all of it is now dismantling their influence, credibility, and peace, while leaving you untouched. Every attempt they made to harm you collapsed before it began, because destiny moves in ways that no human force can intercept. And the most powerful part? You never needed to fight on their terms. You didn't have to argue, prove yourself, or exhaust your energy in retaliation. Your rise is happening quietly, efficiently, and inevitably, forcing everyone, including your enemies, to acknowledge that your path was never theirs to rewrite. They are spectators to their own undoing, watching helplessly as justice unfolds and truth prevails. Remember this: your favor doesn't ask for permission. Your destiny isn't negotiable. The script of your life was written long before anyone tried to challenge you, and no opposition can edit it. Every victory you claim, every step forward you take, and every door that opens in your favor is a testament to that unshakable truth. So move boldly, rise unapologetically, and let the world watch in awe. Your journey is proof that no enemy, no lie, and no obstacle can overcome what God has already ordained for you. They tried to stop you, but in the end, it was always written: you will rise, you will prevail, and you will shine. If this message hit you and shook something inside, make sure you don't leave without doing these 3 powerful things. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss a drop of truth that's changing lives. Like this video if you feel the energy of unstoppable favor moving in your life right now. Comment below. I want to hear how your destiny is rising, how favor is showing up for you, or even how this video exposed the lies your enemies tried to tell. And don't forget to share this with anyone who needs to see that no force, no attack, and no obstacle can stop what's already been written for them. Your presence here isn't random. It's part of the movement, part of the shift, and part of the truth being revealed. So take action now. Subscribe, like, comment, and share.